This week, we will be writing a newspaper article. First, we need to begin by understanding parts of a newspaper article. The first part, the most obvious, is the headline. Then we have the byline. This is who wrote the article. In this case, the byline says, by Amanda Bliss. The next part of the article is the place line. I've drawn your attention to the place line here by putting a red line through it. The place line of this article is New York. You can see that all the letters of New York are capitalized, and it is followed by a dash. The place line comes at the very beginning of the article. Next, we have the lead paragraph. In the lead paragraph, you need to have as many as you can of the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, why. Most of the time, this lead paragraph is just a sentence. One sentence with all of that information. The beauty of newspaper articles is they aren't real lengthy, and they try to get as much information into just a few sentences as possible. So here in the lead paragraph, they generally try to stick to one sentence telling all of that information. Here you see the Rockefeller Center skating rink, blah, 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 who, what, when, where, and why. So this article would be telling who's at the Rockefeller Center, what's happening at the Rockefeller Center skating rink, when is it happening, where is it happening, why is it happening. All of that information would be in that very first paragraph. Next, we have our body paragraphs. Our body paragraphs, as you can see there, one is yellow, and this body paragraph answers how and why. This gives a little bit more information about what is happening and why you're writing this article. How is it happening? Why is it happening? It's just giving a little bit more detail. The next paragraph in the body paragraph is the green paragraph there. This is where you write your quotes. For our purposes, we will be using 2 quotes. In this short article here, it says, "It was so much fun," said Susie Snowflake, a teenager skating with a local youth group. So they are taking a quote from someone who is there and not just somebody 2 blocks away that doesn't know what's going on. So you need to make sure your quotes are people who are very involved. And the last paragraph there you see just gives a little bit of additional information. The last paragraph doesn't have, the information isn't quite as important, but it does give a little bit more information. Then over to the left here you see that the newspaper article has a photo and a photo caption. Both of these things are very important to a newspaper article. Photos should be definitely of the events happening, and the photo caption should have who is in the photo and what is happening in the photo. So you want to make sure that you have those 2 facts in the photo caption. So these are the parts of a newspaper article. There are some do's and don'ts about newspaper articles. 1, you start with the most important information in the headline. Then you follow with the lead paragraph that has the 5 W's. The 5 W's being the 5 W words: who, what, when, where, and why, giving the most important information. Then you have a few body paragraphs that give you the how and why the event is happening, and then your quote paragraphs from people who are directly involved and there. Finally, you finish up your last paragraph with any additional information that is not as vital as the others. When writing a headline, you write it in this fashion, in this fashion of an upside down triangle. Most important information first, going down to the least important information. Some do's and don'ts. Do organize from most important to least. Don't add unimportant facts. As I said earlier, writing a newspaper article is a little bit different than some of the other writings that we've done. We don't want to get too wordy. We don't want to add too much. We just want to get the facts out. So we don't want to add unimportant facts. You do want to use plain, understandable language. This isn't a place where you can pull out the biggest, most interesting word that you've ever heard. You want to make sure that you're using language that everyone that might pick up a newspaper will be able to read and understand. Also, don't make sentences too wordy. Short, direct paragraphs and sentences are what newspaper articles are looking for. Do have 1 to 2 quotes from people directly involved. And do write in the third person. You don't ever want to use I, we, me, or us in a newspaper article. Remember, as a newspaper article writer, you are a reporter standing on the outside reporting in. You should not be writing from the involved part of a story. You're watching from the outside and reporting on what you're seeing. So your first assignment is to choose your story. What will you report on? You may need to pick just one part of the story or favorite movie. You also can choose to report on something you are learning in another subject. So your assignment 1 would be to let me know what you plan to write your newspaper article on. Your second assignment will be to choose your photo. You will need to pick a photo that appropriately matches with what you're writing. So choose a photo to go with the article you are writing. Upload the photo you will be using and a short 1 to 2 sentence explanation of what is happening in the picture. Also add who is in the picture. Here are some examples of photos and photo captions from an actual newspaper. Here you see a photo of 3 ladies. The photo caption reads, Gretchen Roach, laughing in the foreground, has been volunteering since the beginning to help make hundreds of meals that volunteers from Good Hope and Zion Lutheran churches in Oil City have been delivering for 17 years. See page 3 for another photo. Here you can see that they named the people and what they were doing. They are volunteering in this photograph. So this photograph and the photo caption gives us a little bit of information and a little snapshot into what's happening to go with the article. Let's look at another example. Here we have a picture that has sort of a title over top saying local help for wildfire victims. Then underneath the photo it says Clarion Elementary School Principal Roger Walter reviews photos from the campfire in California with students Gary Denny Center and Hayden Hindman. So apparently they are doing some sort of drive to gather goods for the campfire victims, and we see these 3 people are mentioned in the photo caption, and it gives us an idea of what they're doing. They're looking at photos from the campfire. Finally, let's look at this example. In this example, we see a gentleman with his dog, and the photo caption reads, in this undated photo provided by Festival Ballet Providence, Misha DeJuric, the ballet company's artistic director holds Archie, his Yorkshire Terrier, who has performed in more than 125 performances of the Nutcracker. So here we see the photo caption tells us who it is and where it is and a little bit about what this dog has done. So that will be your assignment 3 to choose your photo. Okay. In our next video, we will begin with the 5 W's.